What's up, everybody? So, I was running out of room on my camera, so I had to switch up some things. But in conclusion to our previous discussion, Amy Cooper, man. So, Amy Cooper, in recent time, she's gotten off easy, and I say she's gotten off easy because the young man, Mr. Cooper, that she had the altercation with, has declined to help the prosecutor, I'm assuming, to press charges against her. He feels that she has suffered enough, losing her dog, losing her job. Okay, I understand his point of view, but bruh, as a black man in America, many people have been killed for less. So when they hear that you said, oh, well, she lost her job and she lost her, yeah, that's not good enough. Because we all know that in the legal system, if it were anybody else, especially around election time, they would have been made an example of. And white people, these Karens and Beckys, they're going to continue to keep doing what they're doing. They're not going to slow down unless they're made an example of. Unless we stand up and let them know that, hey, we're human too, and you're not going to get away with it. They are willing to have our lives disrupted and ended for their white privilege. And you just say, she lost a job, that's good enough for me. I don't want to seem insensitive, but it might come off that way. It's not just about you. It's about what you represent. Like a company has a brand, it's about what you represent. People need to know. People need a sense of security, even if it's just a little bit. People need to know that you can't just get away with stuff like that. And that's been part of the problem. Negroes in America are too darn forgiving. We forgave slavery. We forgave segregation. We did all this kumbaya and we shall overcome and singing in the streets. And even then, they were sicking dogs on us. And that's why I brought up Michael Vick. We put Michael Vick in jail. And when I say we, I'm saying the American society. We as a society, we put Michael Vick in jail for dogfighting. But what about when the police was sicking dogs on our people? Nobody said, you know what, now that I think about it, that was horrendous. We need to stand up for these black people. If for no other reason, that's not a good representation of a dog owner. Police departments shouldn't be training dogs to purposely, maliciously attack human beings. But they didn't. They didn't, man. They just let it slide. And then here this woman comes. And she uses a dog as her defense to say that you were attacking her. And you, in your heart, God bless your heart, you decide, well, she lost the dog, she lost the job, that's enough. No. So now there's an online article saying that she might not go to jail and be persecuted because you don't want to be a witness in the case. I don't know how I feel about that. And the reason why I said that is because this could have went way worse. This could have went south real bad, real quick. So yeah, I feel like you made a misstep. I feel like you should have pressed charges to let America know that we as a community are not going to put up with the racism, with the with the prejudices. We're not going to put up with them trying to use their white privilege as a weapon against us. They send Michael Vick to jail for dogfighting. This woman tries to use a dog to further her narrative that she has white privilege, and you don't send her to jail. I'm dumbfounded. I don't get it. Anyway, that's to wrap up our conversation on Amy Cooper. I hope they find some way to send her to jail. That would be nice.
Or why is she associated with these kind of people? That's what happened to her. And so people will negate everything else leading up to the shooting and somehow tie it to her being in her bed asleep as the reason why she was dead. It's just something she did. It ties back to what I said about people playing their roles. Some people have been conditioned to the point where their viewpoints and their speaking points always work to protect something like the system of white supremacy. And sometimes they don't even realize that they're doing it, and sometimes they do. But it's literally reflex. It's just routine. It's the norm. It's the lens that has been created for some people to see through that they can't see through anything else, and so nothing else would ever make sense. For some people, it will never make sense that, hey, black people just might be innocent. It will never make sense that the police can be wrong. It will never make sense that some politician challenging it, that there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And so the sad aspect is you also have people who buy into the idea of good guys and bad guys. And oftentimes, the good guys will always be the police. The bad guys will always be black people. Black men, black women, black children.
So this next clip that we're listening to is Calvin Michael. I recently started listening to some of his videos, and he makes a lot of good sense. I like his commentary, and what can I say? The man is right. Until we stand up for ourselves, until we open up our mouths and speak on the atrocities that have been done to our ancestors. Here's the thing. People say, okay, well, slavery was a long time ago. That's not the point. The point is everything that was done to us as a people was done to us for over 400 years. That means white privilege got used to just treating us any old kind of way because we didn't stand up for ourselves. We wanted to be forgiving. And then we think we're going to get reparations. No, they don't have to give us nothing. Because in their minds, we used to it. We like being treated like scum of the earth. That's why I couldn't believe Mr. Cooper decided to not press further charges against Amy Cooper. That just blew me. But anyway, to what the young man is saying in this video, we got to start speaking up for ourselves. And not just speaking up, we got to be willing to take action. I'm not saying it's got to be violent. But laws need to be changed. And we need to put, what's a good term? We need to put our knee on the neck of these politicians to get them to change the laws. And like I said, I'm not talking about physical violence, but I'm talking about making them uncomfortable. Because see, they'll write a little notation, they'll amend a bill, but those are just words. They don't mean anything unless you put action behind them. Unless you hold these politicians accountable. Hold on a minute.
Anybody with any kind of proximity to any kind of blackness, absolutely bad. That's literally the perception that's put out there. And so a lot of times it's so hard for people to ever just look through a different lens. And so the crazy bit is, as I'm saying this, I know right now there's somebody like already typing in the comments and trying to contradict and say that I'm just doing the polar opposite of what I'm talking about. And so it's anyway, let's get to the actual facts. And again, this is such a, I hated having to read about this one, you know? And the crazy thing is that this is not just one random event. Like, this happens so frequently and so often, but we just don't really see it in the media. So to those who work on the blogs and those in social media and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram who work and fight to put awareness when it comes to these different stories, kudos to you, because in reality, a lot of us would have never heard of Breonna Taylor had it not been for Twitter making the story blow up, had it not been for those on Instagram, had it not been for the blogs, had it not been for other YouTubers. And again, it just goes to show that, like, it's so frequent and it happens so often, but a lot of times nobody knows about it. But
you're making a good point. A lot of crimes against Negroes, against American Negroes, goes unnoticed because there's no evidence. There's no video. No Instagram, no Twitter. So now that we live in the society that we do, it's harder for these criminals with badges to get away with stuff. They talk about black on black crime, but at the same time, you got hundreds if not thousands of people cramped up in a small space, and you throw them a TV dinner. It's smelling good. It's all got people's mouth all watery, but it's only one TV dinner, and you expect everybody in that place to go home without being hungry. Somebody gonna want more. Somebody's gonna say, hey, if I can bump that person off, I can get their portion so I don't have to starve. Because that little piece ain't gonna do. Yeah, there's black on black crime, but let's get to the root of the problem. It's there because systematic oppression. That's all it is to it. We gotta do better, people. We have to do better. Well, that's all I got for you for now. Be safe. I'll chat with you later.